Hello, my name is Jason Lowry.
And I'm Mark Toti.
And this is the Parkland Podcast.
Thanks for being with us yet again this week. We've had a great response so far. We hope that continues. Thank you to our viewers. Thank you to our advertisers. Jason, we're basically a week away from elections.
We sure are, and this is the next to last podcast before we go to the polls and vote in that August primary. Lots of action. Again, we'll go over those races, and we'll talk about some of the politicians that'll be sponsoring this episode. We're also going to be hearing in this episode from the two Missouri State Senate candidates for District 3 on the Republican side, and they are Mike Henderson and Cyndi Buchheit-Courtway. We're also going to talk about the roundabout that is coming to Deloge with MoDot engineer Chris Crocker. We'll talk about summer events, sports, songs, and album picks, and we'll draw another winner of our Warmie contest courtesy of Parkland Pharmacy, and our very first Save-A-Lot certificate will be awarded. All this and more coming up on the Parkland Podcast. Sponsors, boy, again, we cannot thank you enough for sponsoring our podcast, and our sponsors include Parkland Pharmacy, Nichols Heating and Air, Discover Farmington, First State Community Bank, Save-A-Lot of the Parkland, John Robinson at Pettis Chrysler Automotive, and the Farmington Water Park. Plus, we welcome 7 new political advertisers to the podcast today.
Well, they know the power of the podcast and local connections. That's what this podcast is all about, is keeping it local. Sure, we'll talk about some national and maybe some international things on occasion, but our focus will be on local, and I think that shows with these political candidates.
And these candidates are Mike Miller for the 117th District, Tim Harris for St. Francis County Sheriff, Mike Henderson for State Senate, David Cater for St. Francis County Commissioner District 2, Jason Crump for St. Francis County Sheriff, Bryce Sechrist for Circuit Judge, and Michael Barton for St. Francis County Commissioner in District 2. We successfully hosted, and mosted the longest show in our podcast history last week, and almost 2 hours, but chock full of so much information.
Yeah, I went back and listened to it, actually, watched the whole thing, and it flowed very well in my humble opinion.
Good.
It wasn't like it was an almost 2-hour extravaganza that we had to suffer through. I really enjoyed hearing from the candidates and the people that we interviewed.
Yeah, I thought Chief Bullock was great with the city of Farmington. Some good, timely information there. And Paul Williams, who's listened to every podcast, he hit me as like the most prepared podcast guest, at least knowing what to expect from us, I think.
Yeah, well, he's and that whole family, his family.
Yeah, they're pretty smart.
They're really smart, yes.
Hey, keep an eye on those polls. In fact, we had dropped a new poll on the Parkland podcast over the weekend, and we're being a little creative. We are combining 2 races into one with this latest poll. We have combined both the state representatives races in the 116th and 117th districts. So I hope that wasn't too confusing having 2 different races on the poll at once, but we gave you all 3 of the Republican candidates in the 117th district and both of the candidates in the 116th district. And as it sits right now, Ryan Cooper has a pretty sizable lead over Dale Wright in the race for the 116th. And then in the race for the 117th, Chad Brown is the leading candidate there, followed by Becky Lobinger and then Mike Miller. But I think it's pretty clear in both of these races, Mark, at least based on this poll, Ryan Cooper and Chad Brown are the leaders.
It'll be interesting to see how that plays out and if the thoughts and views of our podcast viewers match with those of the rest of the community.
Well, we'll find out soon enough. And again, you can find those polls on our Facebook page. And our next poll that we drop will be about the Missouri Senate race involving Mike Henderson and Cyndi Buchheit-Courtway on the Republican side. And lastly, want to preview that election night coverage. It all happens on August the 6th when the polls close. We will bring you coverage from Election Central on Weber Road in Farmington. We'll be talking to the candidates, most of which we know are going to be in that building that night. And as soon as those returns are posted, we will be passing that information along to you. And Mark, this is something I believe you did, 39 times in your radio career? At least well, I guess we got to double it because we got primaries, we got general elections, and also some municipal elections too, right?
That's right. So, yeah, I'd say close to double digits.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or triple digits, I should say. Yeah.
Yes, no doubt about it. And we'll test your filling abilities as well, too.
Here we go.
Yeah, that's when the real fun's going to start. So make sure you tune into that. That'll be on our Facebook page on election night on August the 6th. A totally awesome radio story that has nothing to do with radio, but is still totally awesome.
Yes, and maybe it does have a little bit to do with radio. I was just going through some old papers, and I came across something from the 4th grade.
Oh, my gosh.
And my mom would keep all these things, and why she kept this one, I don't know. Let's just say the 4th grade was not my most shining moment. I might have been a bit of a troublemaker, but this is the report that my 4th grade teacher, Miss Dilatush, I remember her well.
Miss what?
Dilatush.
Oh, I'm sure you guys had a lot of fun with her name, didn't you?
Well, and as much fun as 4th graders can have. Anyway, this might explain how I ended up in radio, and it might explain a lot about my adult personality, personal and social growth. Mark's immature attitude toward self-control and behavior have had an adverse effect on his growth as an individual this year. He has a great deal of difficulty in assuming responsibility. He needs constant supervision during work periods. Whatever. Okay, there may have been some truth to that.
Oh, boy.
And then I came across this letter that I wrote about, I guess this had to be right around Thanksgiving back in 65, 66, 67. And I find this very interesting. It's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful for my TV, parents, our parents, jobs, our house, and food. I'm thankful for these things because I couldn't do anything without them. The thing I find most interesting about this, I put the TV ahead of my parents.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's like, Mom, Dad, if you're listening in heaven, you're number one with me, not the dadgum TV, okay?
Oh, man, that is definitely a Toti-ly awesome story, to say the least.
And explains a lot.
It does. I really hope that I'm not supposed to bring in my paperwork from 4th grade.
We'll leave that one alone.
Okay, so there we go. That's your latest totally awesome story here on the Parkland Podcast.
It's the memories made during a weekend with the girls, a family adventure, or a Sunday stroll in historic downtown. At First State Community Bank, we have a strong passion for small business owners and the students and families who live, work, and play here. Our passion for them runs deep because this is our community too. First State Community Bank. Success starts here.
Let's check your local news now on the Parkland Podcast. That's brought to you by First State Community Bank. Locally owned, locally operated, with Farmington's 3 locations in downtown at Washington and Karsh Boulevard and the Maple Valley Center. You can find out more about digital banking and so many more things to help you with your finances at First State Community Bank. Success starts here. Member FDIC. Online at fscb.com. Black bear mania gripped Farmington over the weekend. According to the Missouri Department of Conservation, the bear is male and was spotted multiple times throughout the weekend. You can catch multiple videos sent to us from viewers on our Facebook page. Conservation and law enforcement agents remain hopeful that the bear will move on from the city limits. Mark caught up with one of the weekend's bear enthusiasts, John Yao of Farmington.
Well, John Yao is also alongside. He actually saw the bear and was able to take a few photos of it. John, how did you happen upon the scene where the bear was at?
We've got a nosy neighbor that let us know.
So you went over. Tell us what you did as soon as you heard there was a bear in your neighborhood.
We just pulled up. We're actually down on Feezer Road, so we're several miles from there. But we were nosy ourselves and went up. Bear was up in the tree taking a nap, and we just sat there and waited with everyone else until the bear decided to take off and head west.
Pretty big bear from what you saw?
Oh yeah. No, it wasn't a little cub. It was full-grown boar. Looked like.
Did it look like it was as scared of us as some of us were of him?
Oh yeah. And then the chase was on. We wanted to make sure he didn't go into the city limits. We wanted to make sure he kind of went more into the southwest zone, out of the residential area. And the race was on.
So now I think from what we're hearing from authorities that he got behind Engler Park and now he's headed down the riverbed to safety.
I think he's tired of hearing "Go Bear, go Bear, go Bear."
So what was your thoughts then while you were doing this and taking pictures? What was going through your mind?
I'm 61 years old, and why am I running after a bear?
And don't get bit?
I wasn't worried about getting bit. I was worried about falling over with a heart attack.
Experience of a lifetime, though?
That's right. Yeah, it was fun.
John, thank you so much.
You bet.
All right, that's John Yao. Got some pictures of the bear and was actually tracking it for a while. He's been with us on the Parkland podcast.
Investigators are hoping the new evidence found last week at a farm in Bollinger County can finally put an end to the disappearance of Gina Dawn Brooks. The 13-year-old went missing in August of 1989, about 35 years ago, while riding her bike in Fredericktown. The multi-day search of the private property in the northwest corner of the county produced what the Highway Patrol calls items of possible evidentiary value. Those items have been taken to the Highway Patrol's crime lab. No human remains were found. Mark Toti has covered this case since the beginning, and we will have more in future episodes.
Also in the news, a St. Francis County Sheriff's deputy has apparently shot a service dog outside of Farmington. According to multiple sources, the investigation has been handed over to Farmington Police. Sheriff Dan Bullock says the deputy was on the couple's property looking for ring camera footage after a burglary happened on their street earlier that day. The name of the deputy has not been charged, or hasn't been released since he hasn't been charged with a crime.
The impeachment process continuing concerning current Deloge Mayor Pete Pasternak. We expect to have more information in August after the August City Council meeting. Back to school tax holiday is happening in Missouri August 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Amended legislation will now not allow towns to back out of that tax holiday, and that's on school supplies on August 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and that's your state tax that will be waived. Missouri Department of Transportation doing work on Highway 32 on the shoulder from Highway 67 to the Maple Valley Drive, and also some shoulder work going on northbound 67 from Highway 221 to Highway 32 in Park Hills.
And lots of things going on in the city of Farmington. There's a new roof being put on the Farmington Civic Center. I hope to have that complete in the next couple of weeks. I believe City Administrator Greg Beaver says they're spending about $300,000 on that project. Lead Belt Materials is back in town, completing the paving work that they started earlier this year. That'll take another couple of weeks. FGM Architects is finalizing plans for renovations at the Farmington Sports Complex beginning this fall. Lots of work going to be happening there. And the Farmington City Council has held its first budget meeting. The new budget needs to be in place by the end of September, first part of October. And Greg Beaver says they're looking at possibly a $60 million budget. And one other note, the United Way of St. Francis County is going to be looking for a new director. The current director, Cassie Thomas, has announced she'll be stepping down as of the end of September.
And I'm sure everybody on the board really applauds the job that she has done during her tenure in that position.
She did good work, and she's still got a couple of months to go, and I know she's going to go out with a bang.
All right, that is your latest news brought to you by First State Community Bank. You can find them online at fscb.com. 3 Farmington locations to serve you: downtown, Washington, Akarsh, and Maple Valley. Ask about digital banking, business checking, and so much more. Mark and I both bank at First State Community Bank, and we think you should too.
Absolutely. You can't go wrong with First State Community Bank. They put the community in community banking.
Find out more online at fscb.com. Success starts here. Member FDIC.
Imagine a home where every season feels just right. At Nicholson Heating and Air in Farmington, we turn that dream into your everyday reality. From frosty winters to sizzling summers, our expert team ensures your home stays perfect. Plus, with our easy financing options, comfort is more affordable than ever. Don't wait. Visit callnicholson.com or stop by our Farmington location today. Nicholson Heating and Air, where your comfort is our command.
Time for birthdays and anniversaries. They're brought to you by Nicholson Heating and Air. Fast, reliable, and transparent. That's the Nicholson way. Give them a call right now at 756-3599. Who are your birthdays for Monday, July 29th?
Oh, we have some dandies today, starting with my sister-in-law, Jana Toti, the pride and joy of San Antonio, Texas. She's married to my brother, Mike. Jana, you are tied for first as my favorite sister-in-law in the history of Toti boys. So happy birthday to you. My only question is how do you look so much younger than my brother? It must be good, clean living.
That's exactly it.
Becky Panshot, happy birthday to you. She is the sister of Chris Landrum, and Becky does a ton of work with the Help the Hungry Bake Sale. Her and I helped to call out bingo with a whole group of young ladies at the Farmington Presbyterian Manor once a month. I love doing that. Becky got me involved in that. Becky, happy birthday to you. Tracy Stroud has a birthday today. I know you know Tracy. She helps with the FFA program at Farmington High School. When she was Tracy Sample at Fredericktown, she was the Azalea Queen a number of years ago.
Really? I'll have to ask her about that.
Yeah.
That is the most active club at Farmington High School is the FFA, and the stuff that they do is fantastic. She does such a great job.
Great kids, always have been.
Yeah.
Anytime when I was in radio that I got to interview FFA kids, I always looked forward to it because it was always a great interview.
They usually fed you too, didn't they?
Well, no, they would come in at 7 in the morning.
Oh, okay. But if you went there, though...
Yeah, they invited me to several things, but I always wanted to pay because I was supporting kids, like their steak dinner and stuff like that.
But it's so good.
One other birthday, the lovely, and I emphasize lovely and talented, Danielle Owens celebrates a birthday on Monday. Danielle, she is living proof that she's not getting older, she's getting better.
All right, I don't have any for Monday, so let's move ahead to Tuesday, July 30th. Who are your lucky birthday celebrators on Tuesday?
Well, we have several to choose from, including my nephew, Tyler Toti. Tyler is the son of Jana Toti, who we wished a birthday to yesterday for yesterday's birthday list, so they almost had the same birthday. Tyler, good man. He does some radio stuff, too.
Oh, really? How old is he?
That's a darn good question.
Ballpark me.
I'd go 26 or 27.
27, and he's working in radio.
He was working for iHeart. And,
really? Oh, wow.
They're going through some things, too.
Okay.
So I think he's kind of in transition right now.
But aren't we all?
Come be on the podcast with us.
Yeah, no doubt. We could use another person.
Happy birthday wishes to Madeline Usherwood. That's from your mom and your dad, Greg Shint. Happy birthday to you, Madeline. Lainey Sanders, happy birthday to you from your dad, Dan, and your mom, the pride and joy of the Farmington courthouse, actually the annex. And Jane, we hope you are doing well. That's Jane Epstein. That is that's her mom. But Lainey is a sweetheart. One day I'll use her as my totally awesome radio story. Brooke Buzenbark, one of the Buzenbark clan, celebrating a birthday on Tuesday. Renee Kurtz, married to Steve Kurtz, who was the president at Mineral Area College, also celebrating a birthday.
Happy birthday to them. What about Wednesday, July 31st, the last day of the month? Who you got?
I am loaded with birthdays, including Angie Sism, who has defied the laws of aging. Happy birthday to you, Angie. I hope you are doing wonderful and keeping Kent out of trouble.
That's hard to do.
I know it is. Vicky Wisnowski celebrates a birthday. Now, if you ever drive on A Street, close to Karsh Boulevard, and if you do it near Halloween, there's a house there that is always decorated to the nines.
Yes.
And that is Vicky's house, and she kind of decorates for the seasons, and I love driving by there just to see that. Vicky, you're wonderful. Happy birthday wishes to you. Happy birthday to Derek Wiles. Hope you are doing great. He's an eye doctor.
That's right. I saw that.
And he's married to one of the Peterson kids.
Yes,
Caitlin. And we wish you a very happy birthday.
Yeah.
Brittany Medley. I have known Brittany since she was about 3 years old. Her mom used to work at the radio station. She went off to college in Colorado, and I am not sure where she is at right now. The only thing I do know is she has turned out to be just an awesome young lady. So, Brittany, happy birthday wishes to you. Let's see, Dave Boyer. He was with a band out of the Festus area, the Southwind Band. I almost forgot the name of it, but they were like the J98 traveling band for a bunch of years back in the late 80s, early 90s. And I'm not sure I can pronounce her last name, Morgan Ochapinto. She's a Fredericktown girl. She graduated from Fredericktown, went to Mizzou, married a guy up there. She was an intern at J98 for about 3 months. We had a lot of fun going on the air together in the morning. So, Morgan, happy birthday to you from your family. And Romy Daniel, happy birthday to you. He goes to St. Paul Lutheran Church. Romy, hope you have a great day. And somebody we both know and really like, Heather Garner, celebrating a birthday as well.
And a very loyal listener of the Parkland podcast, always.
Now, I talked to her husband, Jason, and he says, hey, I've got the scoop for you for your birthday segment. I am not brave enough to tell you how old my wife is going to be on her next birthday. Let's just say it rhymes with nifty. And I thought to myself, wait a minute, 27 doesn't rhyme with nifty. So, Heather, we're not sure how old you are. We'll let you take that up with your husband, Jason, and your kids, your mom, your dad, and your whole family. Happy birthday. She does a great job on the United Way of St. Francis County Board and a bunch of other things.
Absolutely. Always enjoy talking to Heather. Always enjoy talking politics to Heather, too, because she worked with Joanne Emerson's office for years and years and years, and was a great resource for us media folk, and she's a great appreciator of the Parkland podcast, which we appreciate. Sam Haggerty celebrating a birthday on Wednesday, July 31st. Sam is at Mineral Area College now on scholarship, playing the drums for all the bands there. So happy birthday to Sam from your mom and dad and your grandma and grandpa and everybody at the Shelter Insurance family. Let's say August 1st, the first day of August. What birthdays do you have?
Oh, my good buddy John Dominic celebrates a birthday on Thursday. John is a military veteran, a retired military veteran, gets very involved in all the different military organizations around the area. I have dinner with him and his wife and a whole group of us about every week or two. John, happy birthday wishes to you, and thank you for your service. Happy birthday wishes to Chantel Gilmore. Chantel worked at our radio station for about a year, just a couple of years ago. She's not there anymore, but she made a big impression on me. I just love that girl to death. She's got a great sense of humor, a little bit on the crazy side, but I kind of like that. So, Chantel, happy birthday wishes to you. And somebody else that we both know and really like a lot, celebrating a birthday, Martha Boren.
Boy, it just worked out, Martha. Your birthday is on the rehearsal night of Baby Boomers, so I can't get the crowd to sing happy birthday to you, which she always loves every year, trust me. Happy birthday, Martha. Hope it's a great one for you. Penny Tinsley, Belgrade State Bank, celebrating a birthday on Thursday, August the 1st. Construction man Albert Cooley with a birthday that day as well. And speaking of Baby Boomers, one of the performers, retired local band teacher Shane Vergis, with a birthday on Thursday. Happy birthday, Mr. Vergis.
Happy birthday.
How about Friday, August 2nd? Who are our birthday celebrators?
Well, we have a lot of birthdays for Friday, and they include our good buddy, Dennis Henson. Happy birthday to you from your wife, Sue, who indeed looks maybe 20 years younger than Dennis, maybe 25. And from the dogs, they are big with the Farmington Pet Adoption Center. Leslie Nelson has a birthday on Friday. She's a farmer's insurance agent in Farmington. Her husband's a banker. Happy birthday to you. Our good buddy Bill Bunch, celebrating a birthday. He worked for years with East Missouri Action Agency and then the St. Francis County Community Partnership. Mandy Jones, the pride and joy of St. Paul Lutheran Church. Happy birthday wishes to you, young lady. I've known her since she was a teenager. Tracy Carroll, the second in charge at the Southeast Missouri Family Violence Council, celebrating a birthday. I will tell you what, if we ever have Tracy on the podcast, make sure the battery is fully charged, because that girl can talk.
Make sure everything is like connected to, because she's a pounder. When she makes a point, she likes to pound the stuff.
Definitely does. But she is great.
Oh, she's a fantastic guest. Yeah, absolutely.
Kevin Ball, many years.
Hey.
Kevin Ball Auto Body.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you. Beth Stanfus, married to Dennis Stanfus.
Yeah.
And little trivia, their daughter was the very first Country Days queen in Farmington. And Aaron Bannister. Happy birthday wishes to you, Aaron. Hope you have a great day.
I'd like to wish a happy birthday Friday, August 2nd to the man beast, Adam Jones. Happy birthday to you, buddy. And then a couple of former students of mine. Austin Parker, who graduated from Central High School, was a student in my first year. Really wanted to do play-by-play. And the first baseball game we did, somebody hit a walk-off grand slam, and this kid went wild on the air. It was amazing. Happy birthday, Austin. Hope things are going well. And another former student, Nick Lakachik, who is working, I believe, for the Withers Group in Cape Girardeau, just graduated SEMO in the spring and got a job working in radio. Really proud of you, Nick. Hope success continues. How about Saturday, August 3rd?
Saturday birthdays. Jamie Montgomery celebrates a birthday. She works in the office of St. Paul Elementary School in Farmington, and she has been a big help to me in a whole lot of different ways. Happy birthday to you, Jamie, from your husband and your kids and your St. Paul family. Tim McCoy, celebrating a birthday on Saturday, a longtime instructor and principal at West County Schools. Happy birthday to you, Tim, or as we like to call them, Tim the Real McCoy.
Yes.
Happy birthday to my good friend Carmen Pirtle. Carmen, my wish for you on your birthday is just good health. And Sherry Hickey, happy birthday to you. She's married to Brian Hickey, who works at the Farmington Civic Center. And her dad was Jim Snavely.
Oh, yeah.
Snavely Insurance. So
yes.
Anyway, Sherry, happy birthday to you from your mom and from Brian, your kids, and all your grandkids as well.
I got a birthday Saturday for Mr. Ryan Hassel, music teacher at West County, also piano tuning expert, Hassel Piano Tuning. You see those vehicles around the town. Happy birthday, Mr. Hassel, and hope you have a great day. What about Sunday, the 4th?
Sunday. Boy, you talk about lovely ladies leading off the birthday list. Derica Parker celebrates a birthday today, or on Sunday. She works with Rocky Good at New Heights Church, and she keeps Rocky on the straight and narrow, and we all know that that's a tough job to do. Derica, happy birthday to you. One of the all-time nicest people you will ever meet, celebrating a birthday, Katie Rhodes. Happy birthday to you, Katie, from your husband, Rodney, your kids, and your grandkids now. Tracy Busenbark, celebrating a birthday today. Tracy, happy birthday to you from the Busenbark clan. Julie Worley, celebrating a birthday. That's from your husband, Tommy, and all of your family. And somebody else, Bob Mooney, longtime instructor at the Fredericktown School District.
Yes,
Did
yes.
a lot with FFA work.
Right.
Celebrating a birthday. And last but certainly not least, somebody we both know a lot and gives us cookies every time we see him. Dan Combs.
Dan the Pizza Man he brought the first Pizza Hut franchise to Farmington.
He had several.
And then eventually worked into the Little Caesars brand. And I know he still does the commercials. I think he's semi-retired.
Yes.
I think, something like that.
He's got an agreement with the new owners as to what he can do and what he can't do. And he and Charlotte, the Dough Girl, did some wonderful ads.
They're great.
On the radio. Yeah, they were just fabulous. I see his wife, Betty, at the Civic Center. Betty will do 2 hours on one of the elliptical machine. Dan will walk about 4 laps, and then he'll find somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
Then he'll walk another lap or 2, and then he'll find somebody to talk to. But he'll be there for 2 hours, just like Betty.
Yeah. But happy birthday, Dan. Hope it's a great day for you.
Yeah.
And thanks for all the community involvement over the years.
Absolutely, man. I went on the very first Country Days Moonlight Bike Ride that was organized by Dan the Pizza Man.
Those were so exciting, but it just seems like every year recently it either gets rained out or heated out, and it stinks.
Yeah, it sure does.
But those were so much fun, and thanks again, Dan, for doing that for years and years. Those are your birthdays, anniversaries, brought to you by Nicholson Heating and Air. Fast, reliable, and transparent. That's the Nicholson way.
Farmington, Missouri, your destination for a perfect weekend getaway. Dine in at one of our quality restaurants or visit one of our surrounding wineries. Farmington offers a variety of parks and other recreational leisure time activities. See some sights, have some fun, and go wherever your heart takes you. Sounds like a lot of fun, so get a room and stay a while. All this and more awaits you just 60 miles south of St. Louis. Discover Farmington today.
Time to check the events page, brought to you by Discover Farmington. More than you ever imagined. DiscoverFarmingtonMo.com allows you to find out more about entertainment, dining, outdoor activities, wineries, and more. And Discover Farmington proudly presents Blues, Brews, and Barbecues coming up on September 20th and 21st. But what is happening more recently? What's any big golf tournaments happening this week?
Oh, there's a big golf tournament coming up this week. The Missouri Elk State Golf Tournament is coming up this week. That'll be big news, not just for Elks members, but for the entire communities between the restaurants and the hotels. This area should be packed.
Also happening this coming weekend, the Baby Boomer Reunion Show. This year's theme is Family Ties, and we're going to be doing nonstop versions of the theme song for Family Ties through the whole... No, I'm just kidding. We'll be doing music that features either band members who are related or writers who are related. So that opens up all kinds of possibilities.
Going to hear some heart music, I'm
Absolutely,
sure.
yes. That is definitely one of the bands that will be featured. And the Baby Boomers Show is all local talent performing at the Centene Center Friday night, August 2nd, Saturday afternoon, August 3rd at 1 o'clock, and Saturday night at 7 o'clock. Tickets still remain for all 3 shows. You will not be disappointed by this tremendous showing of music and talent.
And if you're looking for even more music, coming up this Friday, Rex Manning Day will be celebrated in downtown Farmington with a big block party. Music starting at 7 o'clock.
Washington County Fair returns to the Washington County Fairgrounds August 7th through the 10th. Music at this year's fair includes The Outsiders and Jason Pritchett on Friday night. Then Saturday night, one of our favorite bands of all time, Canyon, and they will be opening up for the Feudin Hillbillies. And that's all at the Washington County Fair August 7th and through the 10th in Potosi.
If you're a fan of arts and crafts, you need to head to St. Genevieve August 10th and 11th. Because Your Defect goes on, and that is always a good time. Take it from somebody who's been there.
Yeah.
About a dozen times.
Absolutely. There's all kinds of events going on. They have their 5K run on Saturday as part of Jour de Fête, and some great musical entertainment, including Josh Driscoll. They'll have the tours of all the houses going on. The annual fried chicken dinner on Sunday at the Knights of Columbus Hall, and Vernon Fleeg will be performing on Sunday afternoon. So all kinds of interesting things going on in St. Genevieve, the historic craft shows and the reenactments. You talk about a community with a historic heritage. St. Genevieve is definitely it.
Definitely take a tour of some of the historic homes in St. Genevieve. Maybe run down along the Mississippi River and just, I don't know, and then just have fun. Be a St. Jenner for a day.
Absolutely. A couple of Red Cross blood drives coming up on the 31st. The American Legion Hall is hosting one from 10 until 2 in Farmington. And the Knights of Columbus Hall in Fredericktown will be hosting a blood drive on August the 1st from 12:30 to 5:30. And then the next big event we need to get ready for, obviously, is Brews, Blues, and Barbecues, or Blues, Brews, and Barbecues, whichever way you want to read it. And no, I know you're very involved in that, and you actually have a schedule now, right?
Yeah. They sent me the schedule. I've been fortunate enough to be the MC for the event in years past. And on Friday, September 20th, Mojo Rising. This is a two-man band, but they are so good. They are so good. You will like that. They'll play at 5 o'clock on Friday, followed by the Blue Moon Blues Band. Then on Saturday, all kinds of music throughout the day, starting at 11:30. Music from the Brad Allen Band. That'll be followed by the Soulard Blues Band, and they've been playing music for decades around the area and playing it very well. Following that, at 4 o'clock, it's Casimir Taylor's Doc Dix. There you go. That's all I know about that.
Should be interesting.
Yeah, with a name like, well, never mind. Marquise Knox will play at 6, and we'll wrap things up with a guy who is in Farmington several years back for Blues, Brews, and Barbecue and put on a heck of a show, Albert Castiglia. So it should be a great lineup.
All this brought to you by Discover Farmington. Go to discoverfarmingtonmo.com where you can find out about local events or even book a wedding or day trip. And, of course, get all those details about Blues, Brews, and Barbecues coming up September 20th and 21st.
I'm Mike Henderson, and I hope I will have your support in the Republican primary for state Senate. After 3 decades teaching and coaching, I know how important it is to protect our conservative values for future generations.
In the Missouri legislature, Mike Henderson is leading the fight against the woke agenda, voting to defend children from transgender mutilation surgery and protect girls' sports. Mike Henderson is proudly pro-life and has been endorsed by Missouri Right to Life PAC. He also fights for the Second Amendment, earning him an A rating from the NRA Political Victory Fund. Mike stands with President Trump and believes we need to stop the invasion at our southern border. That's why Mike voted to make it a crime for illegal immigrants to re-enter Missouri after they have been deported, allowing Missouri to enforce border security laws when Joe Biden won't. Mike Henderson is a proven Trump conservative. Vote Mike Henderson in the Republican primary for State Senate on August 6th.
Paid for by Henderson from Missouri.
St. Francis County needs a sheriff who is ready on day one, and that candidate is Tim Harris. With almost 25 years of experience in St. Francis County law enforcement, Tim has the knowledge and the know-how to make the county safer and stronger. He wants to improve technology, officer response time, and will do everything to keep this county safe. Tim Harris for St. Francis County Sheriff, working smarter and harder, paid for by committee to elect Tim Harris Sheriff, Janice Bess, Treasurer.
Save-A-Lots of the Parkland, helping to sponsor the Parkland podcast. These are the locations in Bonne Terre, DeSoto, Potosi, Park Hills, and Farmington. Save-A-Lot has butchers in every store, and I was in Save-A-Lot in Park Hills this week. Remember Super Smokers Barbecue?
Sure do.
They sell the bottled sauces there.
Ooh.
So I bought the St. Louis style, tried that out on some stuff I put on the grill this week. I also saw they have Emo's pizza crust, the provolone cheese, and all of the Emo's brand toppings, so you can get your own Emo's pizza with all the ingredients right there at Save-A-Lot.
Well, a couple of things about Save-A-Lot that impressed me. When they say there's one near you, with locations in Bonne Terre, DeSoto, Potosi, Park Hills, and Farmington, folks, there's one near you. And if you like the idea of giving your business to somebody who's here locally, rather than money going off to a big corporation or a big box store, Save-A-Lot is the way to go. Locally owned and operated. The people that work there and own the stores, they go to church with you. They go to the same schools that you go to. You are really helping out in the local community.
Save-A-Lots of the Parkland. Get the 5 for $24.99 deals. So many great selections. Local butchers in every store. Save-A-Lot, Bonne Terre, DeSoto, Potosi, Park Hills, and Farmington, sponsoring the Parkland podcast. Let's look now at the 3rd District State Senator race in Missouri. And we're joined now by Mike Henderson. Mike has been the 117th District Representative for 7 years. He was the Speaker Pro Tem and on the Education Committee, and of course a long career in education before that. And now you've thrown your hat into the Senate side of things. Talk about that decision and how you ultimately came to running for this district position.
Well, there's a couple of reasons. One, I actually like what I do up there. I think we get some good things done. You know, it's unlike any job I've ever had. One day you feel like you're on top of the world and you really got something good done for the people of your district, and next day you kind of feel like you got your teeth kicked in and maybe, you know, you're a little bit down. You got to be able to deal with that you're going to have highs and lows. You're not going to win every battle, but you're going to win as many as you can. And after 8 years in the House, I made the decision that I wanted to try to run for the Senate and continue that. I may sound bad, but I kind of enjoy the fight. I enjoy fighting for the things I think are the right for our district. I love to do the economic development part where the state doesn't do economic development very well, but I love it when we try to bring things back to our local area and make a difference, like the Mac Tech Center, the money for the IKO project over in Bismarck. We brought some money for Deloche here for the outer road to try to bring that up where they can have water and sewer and they can get some economic development out there. So I guess I like it. I like what we're doing. I feel like I can make a difference. I'm that age I could have gone home and been retired, but I'm not ready to do that yet, and I'm ready to kind of continue these fights up there in Jefferson City.
Mike, you kind of touched on my question for you. You're not just employed by the state. You're not just a state representative. You're getting things done. You're working for the people.
Well, I try to. I hope I am. That's what I try to do. That's the way I take it. I think age helps you somewhat. I don't care about the political wrangling as much. I like to try to go up there and say, these are the things I'm going to try to get done. Like, one of the things I wanted this last year done was more money for teachers and their salaries. And we're able to do that through 727. It had some school choice in it, but there's going to be a lot more money for teacher salaries in it also. And that's the way you're going to get that. I think, you know, they're going to get over 300 million more in the budget next year that'll go to public ed, and there's more the next year and more the next year. And we made a couple things that are going to help it permanently in there. I love those kind of fights. My next fight, if elected, is I want to get rid of the MAP test. I think it's a useless test, to be honest, and I'm going to fight to get rid of it. I like to pick out things I want to get done, and then I keep fighting for them as long as I can.
It's been no secret the Missouri Senate has had some issues getting things done. There's been some, I guess, problems with pushing legislation through. If you get that position, what are some things you can do to, I guess, increase the efficiency of the Missouri State Senate?
Well, I'm not going to sit here and say by myself I can go over and fix the Missouri Senate, because that's not possible. But what I can tell you is I think I've always had the ability to talk to people and try to get to a consensus. Right now what's holding it up a lot is personality conflicts. It's not legislation. It's really not the legislation that's holding up most of it. It's personality conflicts. I'm mad at you, so no matter what you bring up, I'm going to try to kill it because you made me mad about something. And I think we have to have policy conversations. And that's what, if I get over there, that's one thing I think I'm going to fight for, is we have to have that conversation about policy at least. Let's put our personal petty differences aside and see if we can talk about policy that's best for the state of Missouri. So that's what I would try to do.
Will you have a little more power as a member of the Senate if elected?
I mean, you do. Yeah, you're one of 34 instead of one of 163. Now, being Speaker Pro Tem, I got a little bit bigger say those last 2 years in there. But as a senator, you're one of 34, so you do have a little bit more ability to have a say in the policy decisions that we do.
Talk a little bit about how people can find out more about your campaign. Obviously, you're out talking to people, but how do they find you online?
They can find it on my Facebook page, Henderson for State Senate. They can look on my personal page too, and I have some of it there. And then I have HendersonForMissouri.com, a website. So, you know, we're trying to get out there. Give me a call. Get a hold of me. Get a hold of my wife. A lot of people know who she is. Some people like her a lot more than they do me. And so, but you know, if we can sit there and I'm an open book. I'm just going to tell you, I'll answer any question you've got, and hopefully you like the answer, but if not, we'll discuss why I voted or why I did the thing I've done in the past. And I think Mark may know from some of the interviews we have. I'll answer any question. I'm not afraid to talk about any vote we've had and why we've done the things we've done.
By the way, real quick for folks watching the podcast, what is your coverage area going to be?
It'll be 5 counties, or not all of 5 counties, all of 4 counties, and we have a piece of Jefferson County, DeSoto, Hillsborough area. We have all of St. Francis County, all of St. Genevieve County, all of Washington County, and all of Crawford County. So I've been busy. I put a lot of miles on. Was in St. Gen till late last night. I will be in Crawford till late tonight. And so, you're going a lot of people. You got a lot of people you got to meet.
It's a big area and a lot of concerns, and you're out trying to hear all those.
I am, but I will say this. Most of the district is pretty similar in that a lot of our fights up in Jefferson City aren't Republican Democrat. A lot of them are, but a lot of them are rural way of life versus urban way of life. And most of my district is set up as a rural district and probably have a lot of similar things that are very important to them.
Always appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Mike Henderson for State Senate. On August 6th, you have some choices in the Republican primary for state representative in the 117th district. Mike Miller offers strong conservative values and the leadership for the job. A small business owner for 20 years, Mike will vote to slash red tape and cut needless regulations on taxes. Having served our country in the U.S. Army, Mike will be a strong voice for veterans. Vote Mike Miller in the Republican primary for state representative in the 117th district. Paid for by Mike Miller for state rep, Mike Miller, treasurer. Law enforcement is more of a challenge than ever before. St. Francis County needs a sheriff who can manage the department. That candidate is Jason Crump. With innovative law enforcement, improved transparency, and community policing, Jason Crump has the plan and procedures in place to make a difference. A proven leader who's tough on crime, Jason Crump has the training, the administrative and budget writing experience to lead in all facets of the job. Think outside the box on August 6th and vote Jason Crump for St. Francis County Sheriff. Paid for by Committee to elect Jason Crump for St. Francis County Sheriff, Larry Minkle, treasurer. Let's talk about our friend John Robinson now with Pettis, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram at the fairgrounds exit off of Highway 67. John Robinson has been selling cars for 33 years. He knows the community, and I guess he hasn't made too many people mad because he's still doing it 33 years later.
He's really good at what he does. Yeah. If you don't like high-pressure salesmen, John is your guy. He is so laid back. He'll sit and talk with you and find out what you want, what you need, what you can afford, and get you the right vehicle for you and your family. I do want to send a shout out to John because in addition to being a great car salesman, he's also a bicyclist.
Oh, really?
He does a lot of long-distance cycling and gets involved with it with a whole big group of guys. I know he's done some bicycling where he's gone over 100 miles.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, not only can he sell you a car, he could probably talk bicycling with you.
He probably could. 701-8002 is his number. Real easy to remember. 701-8002. There's a reason he has literally sold thousands of vehicles over the years. Find out for yourself. See John Robinson today at Pettis, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, Highway 67 in the Fairgrounds exit. First State Community Bank, FSCB.com, the friendly first. Well, they probably don't go by that slogan anymore.
But they are friendly.
They are very friendly, and they are first. I mean, it's in their name. They have 3 Farmington locations to serve you, the big downtown location. That's the ATM I hit. Like if I suddenly discover that my kids need money at school, the school's right there. Or I hit the one on Karsh right at Washington, that nice ATM there. If I'm in Maple Valley, I need some cash. Remember when Aldi used to only accept cash? Mm-hmm. I'd always, that ATM got a lot of use right there. And then, of course, the full-service bank inside the lobby at Farmington High School. Very, very helpful as well. First State Community Bank has you covered. You and I both bank there. We're both very, very, very happy with our service.
Don't forget about the insurance availabilities there as well. They've got a great insurance department and investments as well. Lisa Sumter Chapter, I'm sure, would love to talk to you. And also something else that I've used quite a bit, both at the Farmington location and I believe at the Maple Valley location, they have coin changers.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're the kind of person that throws all your pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters into a jar, you take them in once a year and then you trade them in. They've got machines set up in the downtown location. I know for sure because I just used it a couple of months ago, and out at Maple Valley as well. And I think that's a great service.
Oh, absolutely. First State Community Bank, business checking, digital banking, whatever you need, they have you covered. Find out more at fscb.com. First State Community Bank, member FDIC. Back on the Parkland podcast, and we continue our coverage of election 2024 as we continue our focus on the 3rd District State Senator race. And joining us here is Cyndi Buchheit-Courtway, and she is one of 2 candidates seeking that 3rd District State Senator position. Cyndi, thanks so much for joining us today. We appreciate your time so much.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So let's talk about your political career. This is something that you've been involved in for a while. I guess, how did you get started in politics and what ultimately led you to where we are here today?
Absolutely. So I have been a member of the House for the past 4 years. What got me there is a little bit interesting. When I started dating my husband years ago, he was very, very much into politics. I was not. I knew quickly if I didn't get involved, then I would never see him. So I started going to all kinds of events with him and having a great time, meeting a lot of great people. Then I started working at Mercy Hospital Jefferson in medical records. You know, people come into medical records. It's not fun. They're coming in to get something to take for a second opinion or, to find out what's wrong with them. So nobody is ever in a good mood when they come in. They would come into my office. Mercy is a Catholic hospital. I had all kinds of stuff behind me that said God is good all the time. Just pictures of different cool stuff that made people feel better. One lady asked me one day about if I was a Christian, and we started talking about her niece and some issues. She wanted to have a baby. She kept having miscarriages. She finally carried a baby, but it was stillborn. After that, she was really mad at God. So I asked her if I could pray for her niece. And then that kind of led me to thinking, I'm already helping on this scale. I'd like to help on a bigger scale. Senator Elaine Gannon had been a representative at the time, was term limited out. And no one had jumped in to say they were going to start running for that seat, so I decided that that's what I needed to do. It took a little while to convince my husband that that's where we needed to go, and then told our family that I was thinking about doing this, because it is a little different. It's kind of a sacrifice to go to Jeff City week after week. You're there from Monday through Thursday, and your family's here. And so I just have a huge heart to serve, and that's why I'm not really a politician at all. I just have a servant's heart, and that's why I'm there for the people.
I'm sure you have priorities and goals that got you interested in running for state office, but I bet as soon as you got into state office, that list of priorities kind of grew, didn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. So, former State Representative Becky Ruth was the transportation chair when she was in Jeff City. In my first year in, we get to ask what committees we want, or they ask us what committees we want. We get to tell them what we'd like. So one of them that I wanted to be on was transportation, because it is so huge for our everyday life. You have to have roads and bridges to get to work, to get to school, to get to places to have fun, vacations. And so I wanted to be on transportation, obviously. I was put on transportation. She was the chair. She got nominated by the governor, or appointed by the governor, to run the Office of Child Advocate. So when she left, the vice chair of the committee stepped up to be the chair, and I was asked as a freshman to take over as vice chair, which was really cool. I was already the vice chair of the Health and Mental Health Policy Committee, and so having 2 committees that you're vice chair of as a freshman, and then also getting appointed as the chair of the Mental Health Policy Research Committee, also my freshman term, that was pretty cool. So then this term, I was given the opportunity to be the chair of Transportation Infrastructure. They divided us in 2, Transportation Infrastructure and then Transportation Accountability. I got the cool one, and I've helped to bring all kinds of projects to the area, good projects, regional projects. I live in Jefferson County. But my first 2 years in office, I also served St. Francis and St. Genevieve. And so I have a heart to serve St. Francis and St. Genevieve people as well. And so when we talked about the I-55 expansion, it cuts right through 67, and we're doing some great things there. We're going to lower 67 and have the off-ramp at CC. It's going to stop all kinds of accidents from happening because you're going to just continue to go straight. You don't have to stop and wait at the light. So, it's a big safety issue currently. So we're going to fix that. The other thing, mental health awareness. I told you I was on those committees as well. It's huge. Mental health awareness is so huge. One of my friends, her 13-year-old grandson committed suicide 5 years ago. And so it's been huge for me to fight for that. And I have a bill that would start teaching our kids starting in 5th grade about mental health awareness and suicide awareness instead of waiting until high school. Because, it doesn't just affect high school age kids. Right. They're starting to commit suicide earlier and earlier. And then we've got, veterans that are out there that have fought to protect our country and to save our lives. And they're still having issues, and we're losing them. And it's so sad to me. And so I think if we start teaching people earlier what to look for in themselves and in their friends and how to get that help, I think that will help in the long run with everybody. And, we lose one life, and that's one life too many. But, man, if we can just save a life, that's huge to me.
I hear the passion in your voice about this subject.
Absolutely.
If people want to get involved in your campaign, support you, find out about more issues about you, how do they do that?
So I have a website. It's CyndiForMo.com. That's CYNDI, the number 4, MO.com. There's lots of good stuff on there. I have push cards that have my phone number on there. You can ask for a sign on there, anything you want. We love to get the help. We're so interested in the people and making sure that the people are taken care of in this whole district. So,
thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, Cyndi Buchheit-Courtway. She is running for the State Senate District number 3 and joining us here on the Parkland Podcast. David Cater is running for re-election as the St. Francis County Associate Commissioner for District 2. David will continue work on the Berry Road Bridge, find ways to stretch the county budget to continue needed infrastructure improvements, keep taxes low and government small. A vote for David Cater keeps St. Francis County moving in a positive direction. Paid for by Cater for Commissioner 2024. Rick Black, Treasurer.
This election season, make your voice heard in the courtroom. Vote Bryce Seacrest for Judicial Circuit Judge. With 12 years of practice in Park Hills and 3 years behind the bench in St. Francis County, Judge Seacrest embodies respect for law enforcement, unwavering commitment to the rule of law, and protecting your constitutional rights. For a judge you can trust, vote Bryce Seacrest. Paid for by Bryce Seacrest for Judge Christopher McCall, Treasurer.
Want to talk about Parkland Pharmacy, local pharmacy at its finest. 6 locations in southeast Missouri. They're in Deloge, Farmington, Fredericktown, Ironton, Piedmont, and Greenville. And they are a truly locally owned pharmacy. They're in there all the time. We see it all the time.
I saw it today, as a matter of fact, before I came here to record this podcast. Stopped by Parkland Parkland Pharmacy, picked up her prescription, saw Julie there and said hi to her. She was busy like they always are. There's just something really cool about hometown shopping, especially when it's someone like Parkland Pharmacy who really, truly cares. They don't just say we care about the local community. They back it up with every single thing they do.
And they care about their employees, too. I know a couple years ago, I got invited to their Christmas party, which because of COVID got rescheduled to the middle of summer. But anyways, I mean, they had like this gigantic Christmas party for all their employees, every location out at Twin Oaks. They shut down every pharmacy across the board, so everybody had enough time to get there. And it was one of the best parties I have ever went to. And if they're taking that good a care of their employees, you know they're taking that good a care of your customers.
I didn't get invited to that, Julie.
Well, I had to work, so
okay.
I'd take pictures. Parkland Pharmacy, local pharmacy at its finest in Deloge, Farmington, Fredericktown, Ironton, Piedmont, and Greenville. Farmington Water Park and Splash Pad. It's still hot. It's still summer. Well, I wish summer would last, another couple months, in my opinion. But and probably the lifeguards and everybody at the Farmington Water Park would too, because that means summer just keeps going. But it's going to end eventually. I believe Labor Day Monday is usually the last day of the year in the season for the Farmington Water Park and Splash Pad. But there's still time to get out there and enjoy yourself. Have you ever been down any of the water slides or the lazy river or anything at the water park?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I was making sure.
But I've said this before on the podcast. My favorite part is just to get underneath that big bucket and just let all that water come pouring down on your head. One thing I don't have to worry about is it messing up my hair.
I guess that's true. Farmington Water Park, you can go there for $8.50 Monday through Sunday from 11 to 6. And then if you're 62 or over, it's only $7.50. If you're 11 to 3 years old, it's $7.50, and kids 2 and under are free. And the Splash Pad open from 9 to 10:30 every day. And every time I drive by the Splash Pad at that time, I see a lot of families taking advantage of that.
Especially if you have little ones, and infants and 1-year-olds, and maybe those are just learning how to walk. That's what that part of the Splash Pad is really geared toward, the little ones.
So check it out. Farmington Water Park and Splash Pad open every day from 11 to 6. And, of course, you can still get those parties and events in the evening hours at the Farmington Water Park. Hey, let's talk Missouri Department of Transportation. We have Area Engineer Chris Crocker joining us here on the Parkland podcast. We got a lot of good questions to ask you, but we appreciate your time today. Thanks for joining us.
You bet. No problem.
Good to have you here, buddy. Good to see you.
Hey, Mark.
Tell us a little bit about the roundabout that is coming to the city of Deloge. It's basically going to be at, intersections of State Street and Highway 8 or Deloge Drive, depending on which way you go with that. Tell us about this roundabout. I know a lot of people have a lot of questions.
So, the roundabout itself, we had a public meeting probably about 2 years ago and kind of presented the roundabout and our analysis of the intersection. Mm-hmm. We took a look at signalizing the intersection and installing a roundabout. Both actually performed fairly well. The difference between the signal and the roundabout was that the signal required additional receiving lanes. If you're familiar with the area, south on State Street, it's kind of narrow right there. You've got the AutoZone on one side, the gas station on the other, a lot of big utility lines in the way right there. So there really wasn't a lot of room to add an additional receiving lane, and by using a roundabout, that cut down on the amount of lanes going into and out of the intersection itself. So that's a big reason why we went with that type of signal or intersection. The other reason is when you compare a signalized intersection with a roundabout itself, the roundabout has a lot more additional safety benefits. So if there's an accident, they tend to be minor property damage like fender benders, those sorts of things. So that's kind of where we landed on it. And since the public meeting, we've been working with our designers and our right-of-way department to kind of finalize the roundabout design plans and acquire the right-of-way. We basically needed a little sliver from every corner on that intersection, and we're working through that process. We're nearly complete on it, and we hope to go out for bid for our contractors in March of next year. What that means is we'll start construction in probably the spring, but it really depends on the contractor's schedule.
Kind of a twofold question. Just because work's not going to start till next year, it doesn't mean things aren't happening right now, as you kind of alluded to. But also, once work starts, maybe this is a threefold question, what can people expect and how long will things take?
Okay. So once work starts, we've basically planned, if you remember when we closed the road down for the bridge right there, that was an innovative solution that the contractor come up, a big impact to the community, but they got it done a lot quicker because of that. I don't think that anything like that is going to take place unless the contractor comes up with a proposal like our last contractor did. At this point right now, we're planning on staged construction. If you've seen a footprint of the roundabout, it has it's a single lane roundabout, and it has right turn bypass lanes. So you can actually, if you're making a right-hand turn, you can do that without actually going through the roundabout. Our plan is to construct those to give people an opportunity to drive through the intersection, and we can complete it in stages and not close the intersection down. The problem with that is it's going to have an impact to the motorists. They're going to have a delay, especially in the morning and the evening. If you're familiar with the intersection, the reason that it even became a project is because we work with our planning partners, like our elected officials, city administrators, and they identified that as a need because traffic was backing up onto Highway 67 southbound.
Every day about 3 o'clock.
Right.
Days.
So when we built the bridge, we added 2 lanes off the southbound ramp, and that really helped a lot with the capacity there. But because the construction, there's going to be probably, I wouldn't say significant, but there's going to be delays that people have to plan for. And if you can avoid the area, we highly recommend going around and avoiding it. So
when do you hope to have it done?
We hope to have it done at the end of next year.
Okay. What are some other big projects keeping everybody busy this summer?
So probably the biggest project that we have in the regional area is the Chester River Bridge. We're currently, right now, we're experiencing some issues with water rising on the Mississippi River. Early on in the project, we had the opposite problem. We were dealing with low water levels, and we couldn't get our barges out there to do some of the drilled shafts and piling that needed to be placed to build the cofferdams and that sort of thing. So the work has halted on pretty much. So if you've ever seen a rendering of the project,
Yes.
There's 3 main towers. The Missouri tower is about 75% complete. I think I have a note here. They've got 150 feet completed of that, and they got 75 feet to go. So when it's all said and done, it'll be 225 feet tall. The middle tower has completely stopped work. They've installed the cofferdams, but water has overtopped the cofferdams, so it's went a little higher than the contractor expected that it would, so there's really nothing they can do until the water goes back down in the center of the river. And on the Illinois side, the tower over there, they can't really do anything. But there are some footings that they can work on outside of that they're working on the Illinois side, as well as a retaining wall on the Illinois side. It's a pretty big retaining wall, and they're about 90% complete with that. There's a lot of fill on the Missouri side to tie it back in with the existing roadway. They're about 1/3 complete with that work. But work has halted on that as well because the water is up. So really right now we're not making a lot of progress. I wouldn't say that we're behind schedule because it's too early to tell in that sort of a project. But hopefully things can go back down and they can get back to work. But work is anticipated to be complete on that bridge in December 2026.
With numbers below the state average in property values, household income, and education, St. Francis County can do better. And that starts with a vote for Michael Barton in District 2 Commissioner's race on August 6th. Michael Barton is a Bismarck School Board member, an executive pastor, and a candidate with the leadership and vision to move St. Francis County ahead. Michael Barton will fight for retirees, lower taxes, and listen to your concerns. We can do better. This message paid for by Michael Barton for Associate Commissioner, Sharon Eaton, Treasurer.
On August 6th, you have some choices in the Republican primary for state representative in the 117th District. Mike Miller offers strong conservative values and the leadership for the job. A small business owner for 20 years, Mike will vote to slash red tape and cut needless regulations on taxes. Having served our country in the U.S. Army, Mike will be a strong voice for veterans. Vote Mike Miller in the Republican primary for state representative in the 117th District. Paid for by Mike Miller for state rep, Mike Miller, Treasurer.
It's the memories made during a weekend with the girls, a family adventure, or a Sunday stroll in historic downtown. At First State Community Bank, we have a strong passion for small business owners and the students and families who live, work, and play here. Our passion for them runs deep because this is our community too. First State Community Bank. Success starts here.
Nicholson Heating and Air, fast, reliable, transparent. That's the Nicholson way. They do not have dispatch fees, unlike other HVAC companies that charge from $75 to $200 just to show up. Nicholson Heating and Air says, no, we're not doing that. All transparent pricing, no hidden cost, nothing that you'll find out later about when you get your bill and go, what does this mean? Nicholson Heating and Air, they say it, they walk it, they do it, and what a great company. We're so glad to have them as an advertiser.
And, you know, a lot of times you'll hear people say, he's an all right kind of guy. Dylan Nicholson is genuinely one of the nicest people you will ever want to meet. And him and his wife have two of the cutest kids you will ever hope to see, including his young daughter who helped me ring the bell for the United Way of St. Francis County. And one thing I think of when I think of Nicholson Heating and Cooling is trust. I know I can trust them.
You find out today you can trust them as well. Nicholson Heating and Air, fast, reliable, and transparent, 756-3599. Or you can check them out online at callnicholson.com.
It's always good to stay on budget, but with a project of this magnitude, I guess it's especially important. Folks may not realize, watching the podcast, just how much money is being spent here.
Yeah, I don't have that number right now, but I think it was in the range of $270 million is what it was.
I remember that.
Well, good.
Sticks with you.
That's a big number.
That's a big number, yep.
Any other highway projects, closures that we should look for this summer happening locally in our region?
Well, being that we're in Deloge and a lot of the motorists commute north to work in St. Louis, that's not really my area, so I don't know the intimate details of that project, but work is going on I-55 right now around the Festus area. They're adding 3 lanes from, I believe, Peevely south to 67. Yes. They're also going to be adding improvements at the 67-55 interchange. So if you've been up there recently, I don't know if you guys have or not, you can see 2 roundabouts being constructed, as well as some additional lanes, and they're improving those cloverleaf ramps to make it more of a gradual curve there. And then one of the biggest improvements that I think is going to help the most, especially with that PM people coming back home from St. Louis and they're exiting on 67, that tended to back up on I-55. They're adding a interchange at Route CC in 67, so that'll just be free-flowing traffic right through the intersection, and they won't have to stop there. So ideally, traffic wouldn't back up from that signal back onto I-55. I believe work is anticipated to be completed on that project December 2026.
Chris, about a year and a half ago, voters said yes to a tax proposal after years of MoDot trying.
Right.
Has that been a godsend for you?
Yeah, it really has. And when we first got that, we work with our elected officials or our city administrators, and we put together a list of projects, kind of on-deck projects called the unfunded needs list. And whenever we passed that gas tax, we were able to fully fund the first tier of those projects. Well, fast forward about a year later, and then inflation hit us really bad. So by passing the gas tax, that really saved us on that inflation cost. So we weren't really able to add anything beyond that first tier of projects, but it did save us because, asphalt, I think back then was around $60 a ton, and now we're seeing in the range of close to $100 a ton.
Very good. Go ahead.
Just a couple of things. People are always getting out and about. They want to know where are the road delays when winter comes around. They want to know what roads are good, what roads are not good. You have ways for folks to find that information out.
Yeah. So if you've never seen it, we have the Traveler Information Map. There's an app that you can download on your phone. Just search Traveler Information Map. And then if you want to and you have a computer handy, you can go on our website and go to MoDot.org/Traveler Information Map. And you can see it there. It tells you, like you said, it tells you what work zones we have coming up and what are active so that you can plan your route accordingly. And then also, once we do get into, even right now, in the spring and fall, we've got a lot of rain going on. There's sometimes we close roads just due to flooding. Information like that's on there, and as well, whenever winter gets here, we'll kind of put on that interactive map. You can kind of see what routes look like for the most part. We code them whether they're near normal or covered up, and that should help people plan their commute.
One other thing, this is something that used to frustrate me until you explained it to me. It used to frustrate me that there'd be a road project going on, say on Highway 67 as an example, and after working on it for about 2 or 3 weeks, the crews would get up and they'd leave, and it would sit there vacant for a couple of weeks, and we're like, what happened? Where'd they go? They're not just leaving the project to sit. There's things going on there.
Oh, yeah. So it just depends on the type of project that's going on, but in our contracts that we have, for the most part, we give them a window of opportunity to do it. Let's say, like for the roundabouts, for instance, they can start that work as early as spring next year and have it completed by the winter of next year. But they have, I think we're looking at about 180 days on that, but don't quote me on that. I can't remember for sure. So once they start it, they have 180 days to complete the work, hypothetically. And if they finish a stage and need to go finish up another project or something like that, as long as they get it completed within that time frame, they won't be assessed what we call liquidated damages. So there is an incentive for them to get it done once they start it.
So if they're way ahead on this project, they can spend some time working on another project and come back and still be on time.
Exactly, yeah. And each situation's completely unique, and depends on what work they have going on and which one's the most pressing. It's kind of like our maintenance folks handle our mowing operation and all sorts of things. We have to prioritize it so that we can get as much done with the money and the crews that we have.
We mentioned the app. How can people find out more about the Missouri Department of Transportation jobs? I'm sure you guys are like everybody. You're looking for good workers too. Yeah, we constantly are looking for maintenance folks, engineers, right-of-way specialists, HR managers, you name it. We've got it. MoDot's not just building roads. We have a whole network of employees that if you're looking for a job, just go on our website at MoDot.org. I think the link is up in the top right corner. It says something like Mo Careers or something like that. And you can search. It'll actually bring you to Mo Careers, and it's a database for all state agencies. Mm-hmm. So you can search, anywhere from the Missouri Department of Conservation to the Highway Department or whatever it may be, or you can hone in on engineering, those sorts of things. So I know we got a lot available right now, but I don't know specifically what that might be.
Chris, we appreciate it.
Yep. And you can always call if you're curious about anything, whether it's jobs, construction we have going on. You can call our number at 1-888-ASK-MoDOT, or you can visit our website at MoDot.org, and you can ask a question there.
I've used that 1-888-ASK-MoDOT before, and it's helped me out, so thank you so much.
All right, Chris Crocker, Area Engineer, Missouri Department of Transportation, joining us here on the Parkland Podcast.
With numbers below the state average in property values, household income, and education, St. Francis County can do better. And that starts with a vote for Michael Barton in District 2 Commissioner's race on August 6th. Michael Barton is a Bismarck School Board member, an executive pastor, and a candidate with the leadership and vision to move St. Francis County ahead. Michael Barton will fight for retirees, lower taxes, and listen to your concerns. We can do better. This message paid for by Michael Barton for Associate Commissioner, Sharon Eaton, Treasurer. St. Francis County needs a sheriff who is ready on day one, and that candidate is Tim Harris. With almost 25 years of experience in St. Francis County law enforcement, Tim has the knowledge and the know-how to make the county safer and stronger. He wants to improve technology, officer response time, and will do everything to keep this county safe. Tim Harris for St. Francis County Sheriff, working smarter and harder, paid for by committee to elect Tim Harris Sheriff, Janice Bess, Treasurer.
Imagine a home where every season feels just right. At Nicholson Heating and Air in Farmington, we turn that dream into your everyday reality. From frosty winters to sizzling summers, our expert team ensures your home stays perfect. Plus, with our easy financing options, comfort is more affordable than ever. Don't wait. Visit callnicholson.com or stop by our Farmington location today. Nicholson Heating and Air, where your comfort is our command.
Discover Farmington is more than you ever imagined. DiscoverFarmingtonMo.com is a great website to go to where you can find out about entertainment, dining, outdoor activities, wineries, and more. All the details about local events. You can even book a wedding or a day trip. And big band performing on Friday through the Discover Farmington window, and should be a lot of fun.
Big block party coming up this weekend. I go to a lot of those, and it's really great because the crowd will grow as the night goes, and it gets a little cooler after one of our warm Missouri summer days. But it's a lot of fun, and the one thing that we got to think about when we talk about this, it says Discover Farmington, but really what benefits Farmington benefits this entire area. So they're not just helping Farmington here, they're helping pretty much all of St. Francis County.
Rex Manning Day performing on Friday night in downtown Farmington. And then, of course, Discover Farmington proudly presenting Blues, Brews, and Barbecue. That's on September 21st and 22nd. You've been to that event a few years now. What do you like more?
Well, I like the whole thing. The music is fantastic.
Right.
One year, they asked me if I would be a judge for the barbecue contest.
Ooh. How was that?
Well, let me tell you, not only did I get to sample all the barbecue, but the very first year I did it, after it was done, there was a lot of leftover barbecue. So guess who got to take some home?
Nice. Very good.
What has two thumbs, speaks French, and got to take home some barbecue that day?
Oui.
Moi.
Yes. There you go.
I love Blues, Brews, and Barbecue.
September 20th and 21st, you can find out more about that event, the Rex Manning Day concert, and so much more at DiscoverFarmingtonMo.com. Let's talk sports now on the Parkland podcast. Congratulations to Coach Justin Ford, wrapping up another St. Paul basketball camp. And did you participate? Did you do any of the drills?
I was going to, but I probably would have pulled muscles that I didn't even know existed if I tried to do what he had those kiddos doing at the camp. I did go to the Civic Center several days this week when he was there. Very successful camp. Justin, great job as always.
Now, at one point, weren't you an assistant basketball coach at St. Paul for like a couple games or something?
No, I was technically the assistant to the assistant to the assistant coach at St. Paul. That means, well, if somebody was shooting free throws and one took a bad bounce off the backboard and somebody had to go chase it down, that was me.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sure you did a fantastic job with that.
I think the highlight of the year, we were playing Bismarck, and our guy that had the ball was being double teamed, and I'm sitting on the bench and I go, timeout, 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 timeout. And the official heard me and said, timeout, St. Paul. And Chad Mills, who was the coach at the time, turned around and said, who called that timeout? I said, sorry, coach, that was me. And he started laughing and he said, I was probably going to call one anyway.
We got to get Chad on the show, too. I know we're going to get Denny on at one point.
That would be wonderful because Denny and I did MAC play-by-play for 2 years, and he was my favorite color commentator, and Chad and I could have some good stories to tell.
Oh, my gosh, could you? I know he's enlightened me on a few of those.
Yeah.
But a pleasure working with that guy in a couple different spots. High school sports begin the week of August 26th. Mineral Area College's first volleyball game will be on August 28th, and then August 30th is week one of the high school football season. Real quick look at the Birds. Cardinals lose 2 out of 3, leading into record time against the Pittsburgh Pirates, who don't look now are only one game behind the Cardinals in the National League Central standings and the wild card standings.
It's kind of like the best of times, the worst of times. Lance Lynn got his 2,000 strikeouts. The Cardinals gave Skeen his first loss of his career, and that kid is great. I watched a whole lot of that game. He's every bit as good as they advertise. But the Cardinals scored 3 runs in that series.
Yeah.
And if that's going to be the constant, we have no hope this season. You got to get Arenado and you got to get Goldschmidt going, and that'll really free up our other guys to do what they've been doing pretty well this season.
If the right-handed bats can come along, this lineup will be pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
If they can't, then yeah, you're right. There's no way. I mean, the Cardinals have good pitching, but they're not going to be able to win in the playoffs if they can only hit like that.
Absolutely.
There you go. Law enforcement is more of a challenge than ever before. St. Francis County needs a sheriff who can manage the department. That candidate is Jason Crump. With innovative law enforcement, improved transparency, and community policing, Jason Crump has the plan and procedures in place to make a difference. A proven leader who's tough on crime, Jason Crump has the training, the administrative and budget writing experience to lead in all facets of the job. Think outside the box on August 6th and vote Jason Crump for St. Francis County Sheriff. Paid for by Committee to elect Jason Crump for St. Francis County Sheriff, Larry Minkle, Treasurer. David Cater is running for re-election as the St. Francis County Associate Commissioner for District 2. David will continue work on the Berry Road Bridge, find ways to stretch the county budget to continue needed infrastructure improvements, keep taxes low and government small. A vote for David Cater keeps St. Francis County moving in a positive direction. Paid for by Cater for Commissioner 2024. Rick Black, Treasurer.
Farmington, Missouri, your destination for a perfect weekend getaway. Dine in at one of our quality restaurants or visit one of our surrounding wineries. Farmington offers a variety of parks and other recreational leisure time activities. See some sights, have some fun, and go wherever your heart takes you. Sounds like a lot of fun, so get a room and stay a while. All this and more awaits you just 60 miles south of St. Louis. Discover Farmington today.
Let's talk about our friend John Robinson now with Pettis, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram at the fairgrounds exit off of Highway 67. John Robinson has been selling cars for 33 years. He knows the community, and I guess he hasn't made too many people mad because he's still doing it 33 years later.
He's really good at what he does. Yeah. If you don't like high-pressure salesmen, John is your guy. He is so laid back. He'll sit and talk with you and find out what you want, what you need, what you can afford, and get you the right vehicle for you and your family. I do want to send a shout out to John because in addition to being a great car salesman, he's also a bicyclist.
Oh, really?
He does a lot of long-distance cycling and gets involved with it with a whole big group of guys. I know he's done some bicycling where he's gone over 100 miles.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, not only can he sell you a car, he could probably talk bicycling with you.
He probably could. 701-8002 is his number. Real easy to remember. 701-8002. There's a reason he has literally sold thousands of vehicles over the years. Find out for yourself. See John Robinson today at Pettis, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, Highway 67 in the fairgrounds exit. All right, let's talk about song recommendations. Do you have a cool song for us today?
This song is so cool, I have a hard time describing it. It's from a guy named Long John Baldry.
Yes.
Came out in 1971. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Is it the walking pneumonia and the boogie woogie flu?
No.
Oh.
This one is called Don't Try to Lay No Boogie Woogie on the King of Rock and Roll. It starts out with him talking, tells a story about him playing street side music, getting arrested, going before the judge, and then it just takes off, and it is a kick-butt song. It's a song you have to listen to, but it is a great, great tune every time it comes on. Trust me, the volume on Toti-ly's radio or CD player or whatever I'm listening to goes way up.
Oh, your album is fantastic today. Please share your album with us.
Grand Funk Railroad.
Yeah.
Closer to Home. It's their third studio album, and it contains their first real huge hit, I'm Your Captain and Closer to Home. A quick story about that song. A good friend of mine passed away a couple of years ago. This story gives me goosebumps every time I tell it. But I'm driving to the funeral home for the funeral. I'm delivering the eulogy at the funeral. This guy's favorite group was Grand Funk Railroad. I mean, no doubt, hands down, his favorite group and one of his favorite songs was Closer to Home, I'm Your Captain. Driving from my house to the funeral home, about a 3-minute drive, that song came on the radio.
Oh, man.
And I teared up a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm playing the song as I pull into the parking lot of the funeral home. His son pulls into the parking lot next to me, and I'm going crazy, going, roll down your window, roll down your window. He rolls it down, and I turn it up. I said, listen to this, man, Grand Funk Railroad. And he's like, holy smokes. So it was definitely goosebumps for sure.
Great song and great band, no doubt about it. Okay, so for my song pick, I'm going to go with The Hook by Blues Traveler. I think it's a fantastic song, and I did not appreciate it as I should have when it first came out in 1994.
I saw Blues Travelers in concert back in the mid to late 90s. They put on such a good show, and I don't know if this was the norm or this was just the show they did for us in St. Louis, but they never took a break. They never stopped between songs.
Yeah.
It just kind of flowed from one end to the other. One of the best shows that I have ever seen in my life, and I've been to a number of concerts.
John Popper is an amazing vocalist, but an even better harmonica player.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Good choice.
And this song, I think, too, for me, Runaround was the first hit. That was the breakthrough.
Another great tune.
Song. And that song was just so overplayed. I think by the time Hook came out, I was like, John Popper's a good harmonica player, but I'm moving on. And then as I get older, and especially lyrically, listening to The Hook, it is so brilliant.
Now, do you remember the song that Blues Travelers did that became an advertising campaign for Anheuser-Busch?
The Mountains Win Again.
Very good.
Remember that song? That was a good one, too. Another one, and now the name of the song escapes, is on the same album. But Anyway is a fantastic Blues Traveler song. That's my favorite Blues Traveler
I've got 3 or 4 of their CDs at home.
So fantastic stuff from Blues Traveler. Okay,
you did much better with your song than your album, by the way.
Here's my album, and this is scary, especially if you look at the back right here. This is Jimmy Nelson's Instant Ventriloquism, or Ventriloquism for the Beginner. And this album basically taught you how to be a ventriloquist. And I had this, my grandma bought it for me when I was a kid. And I remember looking at, and you do this with Danny O'Day, who was the dummy. Is that okay, or is dummy offensive now? I don't know. And then Farful? I don't know. But anyways, this dog dummy. And so they would teach you how to like close your mouth and say letters. Like the first track is the letter F, and then the letter M, the letter P. And it would tell you how to do this as a ventriloquist.
Just when you think you've seen it all, you tune into the Parkland podcast and you find out how to become a ventriloquist.
And if you would like to purchase this album, I've just discovered it is only $4.99 on Amazon. So there you go.
There you go.
And I don't even know who Jimmy Nelson is. I mean, he might be the best ventriloquist of all time. I don't know, but there is your album of the week. All right, time to give away a Save-A-Lot gift card, our first $20 Save-A-Lot gift card. And all you have to do to win one of these gift cards that we'll give away every week is to follow the Parkland Podcast on Facebook. And we did a little random name generator, and Mr. Tim Shoppert is the winner of our certificate. Tim, a fine referee in the area, and his son is in Black Knight TV as well, his youngest.
And he was a former athletic director for St. Paul's School back in the day, and just a really nice guy. Good job, Tim. Congratulations.
So there you go. Tim is our big winner, and he gets a $20 gift card courtesy of your local Save-A-Lot stores in Bonne Terre, DeSoto, Potosi, Park Hills, Farmington, and Fredericktown. Thank you to your local Save-A-Lot store. Coming up next week, we have a great show for you. We are going to be behind the scenes at the Baby Boomer concert. We're going to talk to a lot of the performers that are involved in that show and so much more. And again, that will be your last episode before the Republican primary, or before the primary election, I should say, on August 3rd. There are primary races on the Democrat, Libertarian, and Green Party. Is that who I'm missing?
They're on there too. There's probably a number of parties out there. I'm speaking out of ignorance here, but
those are the ones that are on the ballot, and the only contested races locally are involving Republican candidates. There are contested races on the Democrat side, I know, for governor, lieutenant governor, and I believe also too in the U.S. Congressperson's race. There's a contested race on the Democrat side too, but most, if not all, of the action locally happening on the Republican primary ticket.
All right, very good. We're looking forward to bringing you those results.
All right, so again, tune in on August 6th to our Facebook page and keep up to date with what's happening election-wise. Have a great week. We'll see you Monday
on the Parkland Podcast.
Good morning. I'm Larry Forsyth. I'm the mayor of the city of Farmington, and we are gathered here at the entrance to the Veterans Memorial Walkway at Engler Park for a very special occasion. This walk is a result of Councilor Chris Morrison and my collaboration after we visited around other cities of the state and saw similar walks honoring local veterans. We thought this would be a perfect location to honor our local veterans with banners. Veterans often do not get the recognition they deserve, and I believe this setting provides an excellent opportunity for visitors to reflect on the sacrifices made that have allowed our country and our community to grow and thrive. On this day, we pay our respects to another veteran, Marine Staff Sergeant Trevor Spink, by naming the walk after him in his honor. Sergeant Spink was a graduate of Farmington High School and a member of the United States Marine Corps. He was a career Marine, and his face appeared on recruitment posters and billboards across the country. I read where his friends and family called him Poster Boy. But from what I've read and learned, Sergeant Spink was more than just a face on a poster. Though his duties varied in the Marine Corps during wartime, he volunteered for infantry duty. He did 3 tours of duty in Iraq during the Gulf War. It was in the Anbar province, Iraq, that Sergeant Spink succumbed to an injury to receive a non-combat related Humvee accident on July 10th, 2004. Sergeant Spink and many men and women who have paid the ultimate sacrifice in the service of our country, and those men and women who serve our great nation in all branches of the military in peacetime and in war, are what the Veterans Honor Walk is all about. Though there are many local veterans who this is worthy of in commemoration, Marine Sergeant Trevor Spink will be the face and the name and face representing all veterans honored along the walk and the local veterans from our area. May we never forget those brave men and women like Sergeant Spink and the others along this walk who served our great country in times of war and peace. Thank you, and God bless you in the United States of America.